Welcome back, everybody. This is Unconditional Surrender, me, myself, and I playthrough of the main event scenario. Game is published by GMT Games, designed by Salvatore Vasta. We are getting ready to finish off March 1943. There's my turn. It keeps growing on me. We're going to go into the Soviet operations phase. As a quick recap, just to show you Sicily. This was an example of how the American and British fleet power can basically accomplish invasions, if not 100% complete. I was able to do that because I was fighting Italian garrisons. But, what's that little alarms going off before they're supposed to go off? There we go. Check out the video before I explained how I was able to pull off what I pulled off. In the Soviet operations phase, it's severe over here. So everything's going to, all the combats are going to be halved. The Russians are going to be lucky. It's basically going to come down to they're going to need like 1/9 chances of them being able to pull anything off in any given combat, because you need the Germans to roll like 1s and 2s. Because the minimum the German can get is a 2, even with a 1, because they add 2 for being a German. So that makes 3 halved down to 1.5 rounds up to a 2. And the best the Russians can get in any combat that I can see is a +2. So they would need to roll like 5s and 6s to be able to get to the 4. So it's, it comes out to something like 1 in 9 chance of doing anything. But I will try to do some things here. One of the first things is to get this thing out of here. Oh, and I did do the math. There's 4 airplanes. That's 12 points to be cleared to get their sorties down. And then there's 1 armored unit way up here in the north that I need to flip. So that's 14 I need to save. So I can only spend 16. Spend 1 for this guy. He's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just to get the heck out of the way, but still be in a good defense position, possibly. And then this one goes 1, 2. That costs me 2 more. So that's 3. And then shock army goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the river, 6, 7 for the enemy unit in poor weather, and then 8 for this clear weather, clear hex. And we're declaring an assault down here in the south. And we also will activate the 1st Tanks Army. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I spent. So I'm down to 24. 24. Okay. That was weird. And we're assaulting the 8th. There's not real good chance here. The Germans are +2. Okay. The Russians will start off with the, doesn't matter, guards or the shock army. One of those is the primary. So they're +1 for being elite, +1 for each buddy, and then -1 for going across the river. So the Russians need to roll high. Germans need to roll low. Russians roll 3 + 2 is 5, halved to 2.5 rounds up to a 3. The worst the Germans can get is a 2. So they will stop the attack, and nothing will happen here. So that's not done. Nothing happens there. The only other thing I can think of is to try and... I think I really want to push the 15th out, maybe, if I get lucky. So I'm going to try that next. That's the Guards Army for 2. Each shock army for 1. So that's 4 more. That leaves me at 20 against the 15th Army here. Again, the guard infantry, or the shock infantry over here, that's not across the river. He's elite, so that's +1, and then +1 for each of his buddies, -1 for the woods. So again, it's a +2 to a +2. Russians need to roll high, Germans need to roll low. Russians roll a 2. +2 is a 4, halved to a 2. Doesn't matter what the Germans roll, they can't be dislodged, so Again, another combat that goes nowhere. You have to roll these combats, even if they're not really going to go anywhere, because you might get that split and get the hex. If I'd have gotten that hex, then I'm threatening a 3 hex attack on Tula next turn, so the Germans have to think about how they want to defend that. The last attack I'm going to do is right here in this bulge. This right here. Those units go up, and that's 15. Right, national tracks. So that's 5 more, right? And I needed to leave 14, and I have 15. So I have like one other infantry unit I can maybe move around or something. And then again, a guards unit is the +1, and then +1 for each of his buddies, and -1 for the city. The Germans are +2 because they're Germans, and since it's severe, there's no armor bonuses. We can't do any commitment. So it's just die rolls. Again, Russians need to roll high. Germans need to roll low. Russians roll 3 + 2 is a 5, rounds up to 3.5. Germans, lowest they can get is a 2, so they're not dislodged. And basically, I made 3 assault attacks that didn't amount to anything. There's not a lot you can do about it. That's just the way, nature of the beast, so to speak. But if you don't make those die rolls, then you never have a chance at all. And I could have tried to do the 4th Panzer instead of this, but I thought, if I get this and get a 3 hex attack on Tula next turn, or take back my city here to push them behind the river, I thought either one of those would be good things to have. So the Russians have one more infantry unit they can move, but I really don't see one to put anywhere. I mean, I don't see anything to do with it, so I'm just going to waste the point. I don't know what else to do with it. So that's Soviet operations. Everything's in supply. I don't have anybody out on any adventures here. We're just trying to push the line a little bit. We're not getting very far. The severe weather really kind of hurt, but it guarantees that I have pour in April. So that's when my shock armies and my armored units and stuff will all be adding +2, so I'll have a better chance of taking some of these hexes. So there is that. That's operations phase. There's nobody with a no supply marker, so we don't have to worry about that. Replacements phase for the Axis. This is just going to be simple. They're going to clear all their airplanes that they can, I think. What do they got for points? They've got 24. Oh yeah, they can clear everything on the board. So they get rid of this, and they get rid of this, and this comes down to, and they get rid of this one. So their airplanes will be able to counter the Russian aircraft more or less the following turn. That was 12, right? So I'm down to 12 left. Move these right away. Then I have to come back over here. I definitely want to get this guy down so I can defend myself against these stinking bombers. That was 3 more. So now I'm down to 9 left. 1, 2, 3. Not that I move. I wish I could have 9 points for the Swedes. I don't know what I would do with them. I did supply this guy, so I think I'm going to go ahead and, since I have the points, I'm going to take him down 2, and him down 2. So that's 6 more. 5, 6. And then I have the Africa Army in Italy. Needs to be flipped, I think. If I remember right. So that's the 2 that I just took off there. So flip him. So he's at least full strength. I think Italy's about to fall, so next turn I'll flip this infantry here, and then, I don't know, I might have to strategically redeploy something into Italy to be able to hold it. Fortunately, he doesn't have any surprise attack markers for a couple more turns, so he can't really go and invade in the northern ports, but he can try and march up the boot once he takes out Italy. I think he's going to need to surprise attack markers to do that, though, to get another city or whatever. He needs to get 2 more will points on the Italians, I think. Yes. So it's like he either has to kill a couple infantry or somehow march across the boot and march up here and take a city from me or something. Yeah, boy, howdy, I think that's it for the German replacements. The Western replacements, we get to the fun stuff. Americans first. This is an American convoy, so it comes down to. This is an American fleet, it comes down to. This is an American aircraft, that just goes away. I think I have some Americans over here in Casablanca. Yes, I do. This comes down to. And I have, yeah, that just goes away. So I think that's all the Americans. Now we're going to do the British. British have 26. Now they could just like take 3 off the convoy and clear this airplane, and then go ahead and rebuild their surprise attack marker in the mobilization phase. But I think I'm going to wait a turn, just because. I mean, the Americans are going to get theirs back. 1, 2, 3, 4 in July. And then I'll have, if I wait a turn for the British, theirs would come in August, and the Americans would come in September. So by September, I should be able to defeat the Italians, I think. I might not get across the toe. That's my biggest thing, is trying to get across the toe. And I don't see that happening, which means I'm going to have to do some invasions again. And I can wait till I have a couple of invasion markers to maybe pull something off. I don't know. Probably going to have to invade Italy. Or take out, their satellite countries or something. I just don't see a way of getting it easily. So I think we're going to spend. I think we're just going to clear things up for the British. So let's kick 4 here. That's 4. And then let's go do 12 more in the Middle East. That's going to be these 2. That's 6. And then these guys here. So that's 12. I've got. That doesn't look right. Should be 12. Should be 0. So 4 and 12 is 16. So yeah, I'm down to 10 left. Really don't have a good way to do 10. I'm going to go ahead and do this airplane, and I'm going to do Force H. That's 8. That leaves me with 2. I don't really have anything I can do 2 points with, so I'm just kind of out of luck. So that's the British. We're going to the Russians. Russians are fairly straightforward as well. They're going to spend 2. On this armored unit, and then 3, 6, 9, 12, and that's their 14. So there you go. Oh, and the Italians. I forgot to do the Italians. I always forget I got Italians. They have 10. They're going to go. They're going to spend all 10. And they're basically going to do this fleet, this airplane, and then the convoy that's keeping Albanian supply. Going ahead and spending points on this fleet this turn is kind of pointless. They can't invade. He really can't. I mean, they can just supply either way. I can't really intervene, except on the American supply in C-Zone 19. So I figured if I have to pick a fleet, I'll pick the one that I can make more effective, which is the one up in the north. And I will have a couple turns here of points, so I'd probably be able to get him back. The airplane's probably just never going to, unless I fly it way far away like to Bologna. And then it doesn't help me down here to try and defend the toe, so it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. Which way I do that. That's something I'll decide next turn. And that's replacement phase for the Soviets. Upgrades. Do we have any upgrades anymore? We used them all up. They're all up. There's no upgrades. Mobilization. Only the Americans get something. So they'll go flying up here, bring their bomber in. He gets 4 sorties when he's brought in. And that's the end of mobilization. Nobody's talking because we're still fighting. They haven't conquered Germany yet, so the game's not over. End of turn phase. Turn track faction card. These go into the mobilization box. Italians got their tanks marker back. Oh, the Germans are going to get some submarines, it looks like. Oh, they get 2 submarines. 2. Count them 2. And economic reforms. So that means the national track economic reforms marker goes up by 1. And this goes up 4 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the book it says 6, but it has been errated officially to being 4 for the German reforms. And then I get a militia marker 2. And then the Americans get back their tanks. Heavy artillery for the Russians. Well, the Russians get a partisans, so they can possibly play that against the subs. I don't know. I'd have to look at the. I'll look at the map before I start the next turn. The Russians might want to forego German submarines on the Eastern Front to try and guarantee blowing through a hex with the partisans. Well, next turn they get a partisans and an ultra in May, so maybe they'll use their partisans to counter the Germans this turn. It's an interesting dilemma to be in. Partisans can be very helpful to try and bust through things, but it's only going to be poor weather, so I'm not sure it's worth it. And that is the end of March 1943. That was the Soviet phase and end of turn things. So this is the me, myself, and I playthrough of the main event scenario. I'm Dren608, and if you like what you see, please subscribe to the videos so that you don't miss any episodes. Please leave me comments. I do respond to them when I see them come up. That was a very interesting turn of events with the weather that allowed the Western Allies to get into Sicily several months earlier than I expected, and which makes it more likely that they'll be able to take out Italy here sometime in the summer of 1943 and be ready to try and pull off a proper overlord and or invasion of southern France early in 44. Probably the first time they see a clear weather turn. Maybe they'll even get across in 43. That's what happened in my current turn. So, we will see you next time. We will be doing the April 1943 turn. And this is Dren608. Bye-bye.